Adding products is also very simple. We got our admin.js controller where we do interact with the product in the way of creating it. Here, post add product, we create a new product and call save. And I essentially want to leave that code as it is with one tiny change. So first of all, we have to go to the product.js file in the models folder. And there, the save method is not doing anything at the moment. Now what it should do is, it should reach out to the database and save the data there. So again, I'll use my db constant, the one up here, which gives me access to my database pool, to my connection pool. And I'll call execute to execute a query. Now with SQL, we saw select for getting data. For inserting data, there is the insert into command. And there we then define the table where we want to insert something. And I'll use the products table here, followed by brackets where we list the different fields we want to insert value into. So we have the title, the price, the image URL, and the description. And important, you need to make sure that the fields you define here match the field names you defined in your table in the database. You don't need to specify the ID because that should be generated automatically by the database engine. Now we're not done. This only defines where do we want to insert something. The what is missing. We now need the values keyword followed by brackets with the values. Now to safely insert values and not face the issue of SQL injection, which is an attack pattern where users can insert special data into your input fields in your web page that runs as SQL queries, we should use an approach where we just use question marks, one for each of the fields we insert data into, separated with commas. And then there's a second argument we pass to execute with the values that will be injected instead of these question marks. So the order of the elements we add here to this array is the order of arguments here. And we don't do this on our own because this MySQL package we're using here will then safely escape our input values to basically parse it for hidden SQL commands and remove them. So now this is an extra security layer. And here I want to insert this title because the first question mark will be inserted as a value for title. So the first element here should be the title. Second one will be the price. So here we should have this price followed by this image URL and this description. This allows me to insert elements there. And again, I will simply return the promise that execute yields. That allows us to go back to the admin.js file, to the controller, and on save, I can then add then and catch again. In catch, I'll just log the error, but in then, I don't care so much about the result. I just want to make sure that I only redirect inside this function. So only redirect once the insert completed. Now with that, we can save all our files. And if we now try to insert a second product with some dummy URL, which of course will not work, $9.99, and some description, and we click add product here, we are redirected, and this is looking pretty good. And if we have a look at our database and click that refresh button here, we see our entry, so our new entry with an auto-generated ID. So this is working. We now are able to also insert data into our database. Now, as a next step, let's make sure we can click the details icon here and therefore retrieve data for a single document or a single entry in our database.